Ventrac just released a video on their 45RC tractor. This is a remote controlled tractor. Don't know much about it other than what's in this video. There is no explanation on Ventrac's video. It's just music. So I'm going to do voiceover for my thoughts as we take a look at this brand new piece of equipment that right off the bat, I'm kind of excited about. I'll tell you why in the video. So of course you've got your obligatory studio shot where everything looks nice and cool. Let's go back to this right here. So there is no SDLA lever, which the speed, direction, lift, and accessory, I think is what it stands for. That's the way you normally control Ventracs. It looks like now it's all going to be fly-by-wire, this electronic component. And I really like the idea of this because, and keep in mind too, everything I'm saying, take with a grain of salt. I've only got about 200 hours on a Ventrac. Most of that is with the brush cutter. Some of that is with the finish mower. Some of that is with a bucket. Some of it's with an attachment I can't tell you about yet, but we've been using as a prototype. But that's where my experience is coming from. Right off the rip, especially when it comes to having to raise and lower the deck for very steep drop-offs, this fly-by-wire joystick will be much less physically demanding than the SDLA lever. And then also if you're doing dirt work, you're running into piles of dirt, you're lifting your bucket, you're feathering the bucket out as you're driving forward, this joystick is going to be so much nicer than the SDLA lever. So it's going to be much less physically demanding to run the Ventrac. Your right shoulder, your right arm, it's not going to get worn out as much. If you're a young guy, that doesn't mean anything to you. But for an older guy like me, if anybody's got rotator cuff problems or, you know, some kind of something with your right arm where it's not at 100%, this is going to be a very big game changer. I hate that term, game changer. I take that back. This is going to be a very big change in the way you run your Ventrac. Then, of course, this is, I don't know who they're having make this, but this, I doubt Ventrac is making their own remote control joystick is what I mean to say. I'm sure they're having somebody who makes them do a custom version for them. But it looks like you've got some directional things here. This might be the throttle. I think I see a turtle here, but I'm making that up. So maybe one of these is a turtle for throttle. I'm not sure what one of these. Yeah, you got buttons and switches. I'm sure these buttons here are to control what you're seeing on the screen. I really shouldn't be giving any feedback on this. I have no idea how these things work. So it's a controller. That's all I should be able to say. It looks like it bolts into a modified toolbox bracket. This looks exactly like the toolbox bracket that they sell. I think, though, it goes on the opposite end. I don't think any of them, maybe they just put it on the opposite end. But it looks like they modified that so it latches in. You'll see a little bit in the video Aaron wearing the harness. I think this is the harness and where it sits. If it's not, I don't know what it is. It looks like we've got an updated dash with a digital view instead of the old analogs. Looks like an indicator for your auxiliary hydraulics, your parking brake. This looks like maybe your joystick is not activated. This, I believe, is the PTO symbol, maybe your seat presence switch. You've got your, is that your engine on? And then maybe some type of temperature. You've got your gear mode, which maybe you can change your gears on the fly now. Engine hours, engine RPM, battery voltage, your slope, which that'll be nice because right now a slope indicator is an accessory that you have to add on. Looks like now it's going to be integrated. Your miles per hour. This one is a weird one. This looks like a throttle setting. 7 out of 7. What could that be? I'm not sure. Maybe there are 7 throttle settings that you can toggle through. This definitely looks like a throttle indicator, and I don't know if this is like a cruise control button or icon. Then it looks like we have a engine temperature sensor over here, another parking brake warning. This might be your clock, 2:10 in the afternoon, and it looks like you've got a digital fuel gauge as well. So pretty neat. It doesn't look like the machine itself is too much different, aside from the fact that they made it remote control and the new fly-by-wire. So I doubt you're going to see any type of performance upgrades, but I could be completely wrong. This is me spitballing. I've got no inside knowledge. I think the color scheme's a little bit different. And you can see here Aaron's putting on, this is that harness that I was talking about that looks like it stows on this right side of the machine. I'm assuming all this stuff up here, obviously there's a safety beacon, but I'm guessing that all of these things, and you'll see better views, are how it communicates with the machine. You can see there's two little tiny antennas and a larger antenna up there. You can see there's the dash. There's some buttons here I can't quite make out. I'm sure there are manual buttons for everything for if you're in the seat. This dash looks pretty much the same as what we're used to, again, with the exception of there's no SDLA lever sticking out of it. You've just got your joysticks here. Yeah, this is a really neat idea. I like this concept for safety. Being able to do this from up top or down below the slope is going to be so much nicer than having to be in the seat. And using the joystick instead of the SDLA lever, I think, is going to make a big difference in those long brush clearing days where you're on the machine for 6-8 hours, and at the end of it, your shoulders beat up. Mine always does. Yours, you may not have an issue with it, but I really like the potentials for this machine. But like I said, again, take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. I have no clue what I'm talking about. I'm just speculating based on what I see in this promo video in front of me, which they just released an hour ago. So I could be completely wrong about everything I'm saying. But yeah, this is a very neat idea. And I think, too, if you've got an outfit where you have employees, I like the idea of them being able to remote control it rather than them being in the seat. I think as a safety workman's comp type thing, that eliminates some of the possibility for people being worried about the machine rolling on them or sliding down a hill or something, which it doesn't ever do anyways. But for you not to have to be in the seat experiencing that pucker factor when you're on a 35-degree slope, there's something to be said for that. You can see a nicer little shot. Let me back up just a little bit. Nicer shot of the control arm here, the joystick. Looks like there might be some adjustment for, pulling it in or out. This looks like a little armature that can slide back and forth to make it more comfortable for you. I'm thinking this armrest, that might be adjustable up or down. It seems like it would need to be to accommodate folks, but I haven't seen the opposite side of it. There's, I don't know what this button is. This is probably a button that locks out the arms for the loader attachment. I'm completely guessing on that. You got your key switch. This is your manual. I don't know if it's used, but this feature right here looks like the way that you change the gear selector between high and low gear. So if that's still there, I don't think you can change the gear digitally. That might have just been a display where it was showing you what the selection was. Because if they've got that little retainer pin and it blocks it off, I don't see how that could be controlled electronically. Still got your weight control settings. Yeah, everything looks pretty much the same except for the joystick, the holder, and the antennas that are up top. But yeah, this opens up a lot of possibilities as far as the work that you're able to do. I really like the idea of this. Let me know your thoughts below in the comment, and hopefully we can find out some more about the Ventrac 45RC tractor.